Welcome back to 91.5 WDBK FM, and I am Imani. I'm here with my two friends, Karen and
And
Carlos.
Carlos.
Yes. Um, we are gathered and we have our guest here with us, Will Blair. Um,
Nice to meet you, Will.
Nice to meet you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
All right, all
yeah,
right.
thank you for coming in today.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, I my first question. Uh, let's see. I have. Can you explain the process of creating the Marmalade soundtrack and what that was like?
You know what? Marmalade was one of my personal favorites. And I wish more people got to see the movie. I think it was a great movie. Marmalade was one that we did not have a lot of time, and that was just the way it all happened. They were trying to get um, a pretty tight deadline done. I forget um, exactly how long we had, but they wanted a what we call sort of a fully outside the box score, meaning like all real instruments in the room, very little software instruments, and that just takes a little bit more time, a little more consideration. So it was pretty fast and furious. We really enjoyed working with Keir O'Donnell, the filmmaker. The first thing we had to do was figure out Barron's Barron's the main character, played by Joe Keery, and we had to figure out his theme, sort of. And this is kind of an old school approach where the director wanted different characters to have their own theme. You don't see that very often. You saw that back in the older movies like Star Wars, for example, when Darth Vader walks in, you always hear that same melody. And I think there's more subtleties now with film music, and you don't hear that much sort of thematic like repetition. But with Marmalade, that's what he wanted. So Baron got his own theme. That was the first thing we tackled. The character of his mom had her own theme, and yeah, we started with that. Those were like gentler, more melodic pieces. In some ways, they're quicker to do. Other ways, they take more. Uh, I don't know, more thought to get just right. And once we got those right, then we moved into the sort of action stuff that takes place more the second half of the movie, um, which is a totally different approach. That's just more very percussive stuff, less melody, longer stretches of time. It could be some action music that stretches 10 minutes at a time without ever stopping. So those things take totally different lift. But yeah, that's how that one came together. We trying to think. We included it was sort of a medium-sized group from what we're used to working with. It was probably about at least a dozen other musicians in the Philly area, including my brother and I.
Wow.
Yeah.
Insightful. Well, I was gonna ask you. You might have already answered it yourself. Your favorite the favorite film that you have composed was Marmalade. If that's your favorite one, is it also like the most special one out of all of them, or do you have like a special one as well from all of the movies that you've done?
Yeah, that's a great question. I have two favorites. Blue Ruin
Hmm.
was the movie that changed everything for us and most people involved in the movie because it was a smaller indie movie. It was the second movie we scored, but maybe the filmmaker would say this is the first like real movie that we scored. Um, our brother was involved in it. Our oldest brother, he's an actor. He was the main actor in it. It set his career up to. Um, he's in two TV shows as we speak right now. One's in New York and one's in Oklahoma, and they keep flying him back and forth. And he's a filmmaker himself. He makes his own movies that we work on. It changed everything for him, allowed him to become a professional actor and filmmaker. It was a movie that got um,
That started it all.
yeah, started at us for us in a big way. So that will always be special to
Yeah.
us for that reason. Marmalade was special as well. I'm going to tell you all a story, personal story about Marmalade. You ready? Because we're having, I appreciate these like real conversations. Our mom passed away during the process of scoring Marmalade,
Oh, I'm
and
sorry.
we went home to be with her. And the deadline for this movie was so serious. Like, um, she was with us for another week or two, and she said, "Y'all need to get this movie done. Like, even like, don't worry about me." We wanted to be with her at home, so we brought a computer back to the house. We had done 90% of it. We needed to mix things, and we needed to work with some musicians remotely that were recording elsewhere, and they send us files, kind of what you guys are doing here, and we incorporate that. The last stages of the process we had to do at home, back where we grew up, to be close to Mom. She and we needed a couple extra instruments, and she was sleeping. One of the last nights she was alive, sleeping, and we recorded her breath, right, breathing heavily, and we took that sample, put it in the computer, messed around with it, slowed it down, stretched it out, layered that over this piece of music. Have we seen Marmalade, some of us?
Some of it.
I don't want to spoil it, but
So like a certain scene.
towards the end of the movie, we think the main character, his mom, is dying, right? And we had to write this very emotional piece of music, and we used the sample of her last few breaths as a it sort of sounds like a cymbal, shh. And we layered that over different swells in the music, because we just needed an instrument that did that, and we didn't have access to everything in our studio. We're in the dining room back home at my parents' house, and B, it was a special piece of music and a special movie that we wanted our mom to sort of still be a part of. So that's called "I'm Sorry for Your Loss." That's the name of the piece of music that's towards the end of the movie, and you'll hear in the background, it sounds kind of like a breath, kind of like a cymbal. That's Mom.
Wow.
Sorry if I took it down.
No. That's
that's
a very great, like, not great information as far as that, but like that's such an incredible story that you have to be able to tell something like that and hold that piece.
We try to look, you're working on stuff like this for like, you're digging into it and it takes a lot out of you. If you can make it, and sometimes it's someone else's vision, someone else's creative project that you're just helping them finish. Sometimes it feels like you don't have as much ownership of it or connection to it. So if you can find a creative way to make it personal for you, it it sort of lives on as being a little more special.
Amazing, and I feel like because of that added personal touch to it, us viewers can feel that when we're watching that scene, and it impacts it gives more of a hit.
Yeah,
to the
I
scene.
agree.
Whether you know it or
Really
not.
touches.
Yeah. That's the point. Yeah.
Definitely going into it now with that in my
Yeah.
head, and I will be looking and listening out for that.
So, I mean, one of my questions is like, I mean, I'm pretty sure she kind of covered with the about like when you like how you say when you write your music, like you tend to write on the script or just like visual edit.
Yeah. They're all different processes, but if we're brought on early enough and all we have is the script, we'll start there.
Okay.
But it might not get close enough. It might not be quite right because we're not seeing anything yet. So much of it needs to be, once you start to see, it takes them a while to edit, and they need to edit to be able to, you got to know how fast a scene is moving. And that helps determine how fast or slow maybe the speed of the music, the emotional tone of the music. We could write to a script if we feel like the script feels really serious, right?
Yeah.
We're going to write some really serious music. And then you see it come together, and actually like some of these actors are kind of like a little funny or a little laid back, then it doesn't need to be so serious, right? So we need to see it come together to really finesse it. But that's all part of the process, right? Starting wherever you can, knowing you're probably not going to get it right the first time, and then it just gets refined, and you get a little closer to what they're looking for. It can be a long process, but that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, there's always a start of where you're going to start off, and then you gradually work on where it's going to end up going.
Yeah. I think that's what I mentioned there. Like, it's very, I don't know if there's ever been like our very first idea was perfect and no one wanted us to change anything about it. It's normally people have suggestions on how to keep improving upon it, and especially when you're starting out, that can be hard because you're like, I spent all week on this this one piece, but you got to keep sort of adjusting to fit the picture.
Yeah.
And they'll keep editing too as you go. It used to be a composer might not start until it's called picture locked. Like it's the movie is locked. It's an hour and a half long. Nothing's going to change. So you can start writing music to it. But now they edit to the last minute. So you start on Monday and you got this scene that's 5 minutes long. By Friday, it's only 2 minutes long now. And we've, we might have written way too much music for it. So we got to go back and edit all that or start over or something. So it's always changing. It's constantly changing. Because now that, the way we can manage media and edit media, it's like it all moves so fast. We're just trying to, keep up, stay ahead of it.
Yeah, that's good. That's great.
Yeah.
So I understand you were in a band, you and your brother, prior to composing. What is a skill from that, like being in the band? You have a really good skill that you use to this day.
I mentioned in the room earlier improvisation.
Okay.
And like the most skilled improvisers are often jazz musicians, right? They're just like, they've just practiced, and so they can. I mean, that is jazz, right? It's probably different every night it's performed. It's never quite the same, and the ability to just sort of start pulling things out of your instrument on the fly as you go. We're not that proficient in improvising, but you do have to be able to just sit down and, like, even if it's simple idea, sit down at the piano, sit down at some instrument, and just start something. And I think that can also be the scary thing. The intimidating thing is not knowing where to start. But you just got to get something out there so that your collaborators can, offer a suggestion or a way to change it. So improvisation. I also mentioned earlier, we were in more than one band and they all had different genres, different sounds. We didn't stay in kind of one lane. We bounced around a lot, and I think that we're asked to do that a lot now. Like some music needs to be like really high energy and heavy and hard, and like some needs to be just really gentle and soft and sweet. And those to me sound like two different bands, So if playing in bands is how you're getting your start, I would suggest like be in 3 different bands, bounce around, have your own personal project, have a project with your friends over here, have a project with some other people over here, just variety.
Yeah.
That's with life, maybe. I don't know. Like
variety is the spice of life.
Right. Like you're learning to cook, you're learning to any sort of art form, just like try different things, and you're not going to be
trying different
we're not like
things,
experts at one thing. We have explored a bunch of different things, right? So it's a very collaborative process. So sometimes, again, I think it's an intimidating process, but just trust that you got, like, it's so collaborative. You got other people around you. Sometimes I feel like your boss and they're telling you what to do, but oftentimes it feels like people working with you, they want you to succeed. They want it to be the right thing. So they're finding ways to help you get it right. You don't have to come at it with feeling like you got to be perfect at it. You just have to start bringing ideas to the table.
Yeah.
That's really, really insightful. So you've recently mentioned that you use a lot of improvising with instruments when you think of like ideas of what to compose. Do you also like have any other ways of getting like your ideas? Is it like random, like sudden thought, or do you like have a routine where like you go somewhere, you do something?
Yeah, it's all of the above. So we got voice memos in the phone that are this is rare, but sometimes something hits you that's like you're in the shower, you're driving the car or something, and I mean, I remember a movie we were excited about kind of earlier in our career called Low Tide, and we worked all week on this piece of music. We were really excited about it, and it wasn't right. We sent it to the director. He said, it's nice, but it's not right for the scene. And we did not know where to go, and I was like, bummed out about it. Spent a day or two, trying not to worry about it, and then something hit me, and it was honestly just a very simple melody, a very simple version of what we had tried prior. And I just like, I'm not a great singer, but I just got it into my voice memo on my phone, and that became the, and then we went back and recorded it. So there's piano and strings and a bunch of different sounds, but that's a case where it just hit me. I don't know from where.
Sometimes you have to.
Yeah,
You have to get it before it.
I had to sit with it. I had to like say goodbye. I had to mourn the loss of the previous version. Other ways are like my brother and I, again, I was speaking on this sort of strength of a partnership, having someone else to bounce ideas off of. If you're in the room doing anything creative all by yourself, some people really thrive with that. I work with a little bit of that, but benefit from having someone to argue with and
Who better than the family?
push and pull, right? For better, for worse. I mean, we're honest. I'll say that. So like we'll push each other. Like, we hear an idea and it's cool, but it's like, I'll be the first one to say, brother, like, you're better than that. Like I've heard you. Just like give it 20 more minutes because you'll get it there. And we push each other to do that. But yeah, starting an idea with one person, bouncing it off someone else, that might end up somewhere different than where you started, and that's the way to get there. It sounds kind of like we spend all day, with all of this divine inspiration and all these ideas coming and going, but really it's problem solving. It's like we can kind of picture what it needs to feel and sound like. The directors help us envision that, but how do we get there? And so there's a few different ways to get there. It's like I said, all the improvisation, sharing something with someone else, but it's problem solving. Try to figure it out. Yeah.
So I think I kind of went with the. I think you kind of covered the same question, but I'm not really sure. But the question was, when you have a writer block, what is your go-to method?
I got stuck yesterday. On a brand new project and sort of second guessing my ideas. I think this is helpful. I'll be perfectly honest, because taking a change of scenery, taking a break, getting out of your own head, going to talk to some folks about music, about what we do. I think I could go back and honestly, after I leave here this afternoon, I'm going to go back and try to, before the week is over, just try to get a sketch of an idea of this piece I was stuck on. It's a Netflix show, and it's like the first big piece of music you hear at the beginning of the show. So I put pressure on myself to get it perfect yesterday and the day before, and I got stuck. I don't have much to show for it. But yeah, so I guess for me, change of scenery, being around people.
Yeah.
It's always nice to take a break, because if like you don't, let's say you keep on getting stuck with this, you end up in a way forgetting why you were originally
exactly
going for it.
Yeah. Yeah. You lose sight of I feel like I could go back with a fresh start. You know what I mean? And not be attached to what I was trying yesterday.
Yeah.
Just try something brand new.
I think that's fantastic. I'm very glad that we could assist you in that inspiration process.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this all week.
Oh, wow. So have I. All right. Let's get ready to close out. And it's great speaking with you.
You too. Appreciate y'all's time.
All right, thank you, Will. Appreciate your time.
You got it.
All right. And that was it for us here at 91.5 WDBK. I am Emani, and I'm here again with...
And Carlos.
And we'll
Torres.
see you around.
All right.